Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming to Union Public Library's program on with Carmina Velez. Oh, Carmina Mevs. Sorry, Carmina Mevs. I wish I could restart the recording. I'm Debbie from Union Public Library. I'm really grateful that you're all here. I'm grateful to Carmina for presenting today. And I just want to say a few things. If you have a union, if you live, work, or go to school in Union, go to school in Union, you can get a library card with access to the New York Times free at your home, thousands of movies, music, books, magazines, without leaving your home, all kinds of things. So I really encourage you to stop by either at the Vauxhall branch or 1060 Stuyvesant Avenue and get a library card. We have all kinds of programs, so I'm going to encourage you to please sign up for our newsletter. You can always unsubscribe. Next week, we're doing a program on music from Walt Disney that never made it out of the vault, hidden music. And we have upcoming programs on Google Drive, history, music, appreciation, all kinds of things. So here we go. As a certified clinical weight loss practitioner, Carmina Mevs can help you create a body you love living in so you can live a life you truly love. In 2016, she founded the Fit and Healthy After 40 Club, a thriving community for wellness seekers of all shapes and sizes. Women who want to have more room in their jeans and feel more confident and at ease in their skin. She's been studying for over 10 years and implementing a transformational success principles as a sought-after speaker, trainer, and coach. She is the creator of the Holistic Metabolic Reset Method and the author of Walk It Off, 6 Simple Steps to Get Fit Without Setting Foot in the Gym. Love that idea. If you're looking to gain clarity, confidence, and achieve your next level of wellness success while enjoying a healthier, more fulfilling life, Carmina's coaching can help you get there. Okay, Carmina, get us there. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Debbie, for this wonderful introduction. Let me share my screen and you guys give me a thumbs up if you're able to see it. Yeah? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome. So I am so excited to be here, and I'm so thankful to Debbie for inviting me to do this presentation with you. Really, it's a class. It's not a presentation. So I'm going to try to keep it as interactive as possible. And I am so excited for you because based on the comments I was seeing in the chat, I know that the information I'm going to share with you is really going to be key to helping you move forward in a healthier lifestyle, because this is what this is about, right? It's not about dieting. It's not about losing weight. Ultimately, it's about getting healthier and really enjoying your life in the body that you have. Because guess what? We only have that one body. That's it. So before we get started, I have a question for you. Do you feel like you eat healthy and you exercise, you go to the gym or you do some kind of exercise, you're fairly consistent, you tried so many things, but you still struggle to lose the weight? And worse off, you struggle to actually keep it off. If that's you, put a 1 in the chat. So we know we're in good company. Do you feel, and that could be a different scenario for you, where you feel like, you know what, Carmina, I don't even know where to get started. If that's you, put a 2 in the chat. And maybe the third scenario, you feel like the only way possible for you to lose weight is to follow a restrictive diet, knowing that you're going to feel deprived, you're going to be hungry all the time, but you know, so it is, right? If that's you, put a 3 in the chat. And you get a feeling that, okay, these are my 2 choices. I either have to live with the extra weight and resign myself that this is what it's going to be, or I just have to be deprived all the time and I'm going to suffer through it. Yeah, we've been there, right? Well, I want you guys to take a deep breath and let all that heaviness down. We're gonna lay it down for the duration of this class. We're going to put the disbelief on pause, because I understand you've been through a lot. You've tried so many things, and you're like, ugh, like it's never going to work. So for now, take a deep breath. And we're gonna leave it on the floor for just an hour. That's the time I have with you today, okay? So I want you to give up having to be on all those diets and having that nagging feeling in your head that's never going to work, so why even bother? Because today I wanna show you a better way. So I have packed this class with strategies that you can put into action right away and learn to be at peace with food and with your body. That's my ultimate goal for this session. And know that you are absolutely in the right place if you're tired of losing and gaining the same 20 pounds over and over, and you want to get off the diet roller coaster once and for all. Let me see a few ones in the chat if you're up for that. Thank you for your participation. It's really awesome. So we are in good company. So what I really want to give you are things that are practical, right? Not fluff, not theory, but things that I've seen work for myself and for my clients, things that are going to help you get the results you want without starving, without being deprived, without feeling hungry all the time. Now, despite that wonderful introduction that Debbie made for me, I want you to know that I didn't start that way. I'm curious, do you remember the first time in your life when you realized or you had the thought, I'm fat? Do you remember that time? I can tell you for sure, I know exactly where I was when that thought first entered my mind. So I used to dance as a kid, and I danced ballet since I was 2 years old. And once you get to a certain point in ballet, you start dancing with the boys. And what happened is that my teacher called me in the front of the class, and she used me as a punishment for one of the boys who was misbehaving. She told him, well, you know what? You were fooling around when I gave you that small one. Now let's see you do it with that big one. And she was referring to me. And, I was, now I'm over it. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm, water under the bridge. But at the time, you can imagine what that does to a child. And in my brain, ever since, whether I was a size 2, a size 6, a size 8 or 12, I always seen myself as fat. Okay. So the result of that was that I was always on a diet. I was always looking for the magic solution, the magic pill that was going to give me the results. Right? So I tried eating less. I tried counting calories. I tried exercising harder and more and all those things. So I did the usual, the Weight Watchers, the Slim Fast, the Nutri-System. There wasn't even that thing that you sprinkle on your food. I don't know if you guys ever went that far, but I did. It doesn't work, by the way. You name it, I tried it. And every time I went on a new diet, I got excited because I thought, this is the one, this time it's going to work, right? And yeah, things would start off positive in the sense that I would lose some weight. And that amazing feeling that you have when your clothes start to get too big and maybe you go shopping and you're feeling good. But all the while, I was suffering, right? Because I was putting myself and my body through war in order to get a result. But that's not the worst part. The worst part was that every time I went off a diet, even though I would continue to eat, somewhat healthy, of course, I indulge here and there because who doesn't? Well, guess what? The weight came back. Not only did it come back, it came back with a vengeance every single time. So maybe you can relate to that and you know how defeating it is. Have you ever experienced that? Just let me know in the chat. Put a 1 or raise your physical hand. I can see you guys. Yes. Yes. My personal turning point was when my best friend told me that she was going to have weight loss surgery. That just like a bulb went in my mind. And because I was scared for her. I didn't want her to go through with it, but I understood why she felt the need to do it. You know, she had tried so many things and we were diet buddies and nothing was working. And for her, you know, that was the solution. And once that happened, I drew a line in the sand for myself. And I decided that I was not going to spend the rest of my life dieting, or even worse, putting my life at risk in order to lose weight. So, you know, Debbie talked about the different certifications that I've got. You know, I didn't even list them all because it gets ridiculous after a certain point, but I did get a lot of certification, from nutrition courses to consistency coaching, to becoming a weight loss practitioner. And my favorite one, my Zumba license. So I, you know, just have because my goal was to create something that was fun, that was repeatable, and that was reliable. And this is how I got there. So my results is that at the end of the day, you and I are similar. As you can see from my pics, I am no supermodel. I'm just a regular everyday mom. I'm in my 40s, but I've worked it out for myself. I've gotten the results I was looking for because I finally feel freedom with food and in my body. And I've learned how to eat for my body type while I'm still enjoying my Friday night pizza. I'm still enjoying the occasional birthday cake, but I take care of myself in a way that feels nurturing, that it's not punishing. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I'm so happy to say that I'm living my dream today to be able to help others do the same. So today I want to bring you the 5 strategies of the Slim Down Success System so that you can begin to apply it immediately to help you create the results that you want to see in your health. All right, so let's get started. So this is what we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about the 6 culprits that are preventing you from losing weight. We are going to talk about what is stalling your metabolism and keeping the weight on. I'm going to give you 3 keys to losing weight and keeping it off. The foods that increase your cravings, because as we talked about in the beginning, that's a big problem for a lot of us, those cravings, those pesky cravings that don't go away. And then ultimately, I want to show you how to enjoy meals that fire up your metabolism so that your body is working with you, not against you. So let's dive in and talk about the 6 culprits that are preventing you from losing weight. So number 1 is that you're eating in a way, most likely, that stalls your metabolism without realizing that. Number 2, particularly once we cross the 40s threshold, we have unbalanced hormones. Number 3, a lot of us exercise a lot, but we're not exercising efficiently. So we're not exercising in a way that accelerates fat loss. Number 4, some people have gut health issues, things like food sensitivities that they're not aware of, but that is causing weight loss resistance. Number 5, stress. Stress is a big one, and one that a lot of people don't pay attention to. And finally, sleep. Now, a lot of people get shocked when I talk about sleep, but believe it or not, sleep is one of the big needle movers when it comes to weight loss and health in general. Okay? So now, we only have an hour together, so I'm going to share as much as I can in the shortest amount of time possible. And but if you stay until the end, I have a special gift for you. I like to bribe people to for their own good. So I have a 5-step sugar detox guide that has some of my favorite recipes that are going to help you curb your cravings and encourage weight loss. So usually I include those things in my paid programs, but I'd love to gift you that guide just because you're here. Okay, so stick around, it's coming up soon. And then I'm also going to share with you a resource at the end of the class that's going to help you personalize the information that I'm sharing with you today for your specific situation so that you can take the information even further. Okay, and no matter what, please know that the information that I'm going to share with you in this class, it's something that you can use right away in the diet and start revving up your metabolism and jumpstart your weight loss. All right, so full disclaimer, we won't have time to go into every single point of the culprit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on the one that I know is going to give you the quickest win so that you can start on your healthy weight journey, okay? So I'm going to address the first one. It's how to stop eating in a way that stalls your metabolism. So before we talk about metabolism and some of those strategies, I want to say that some of what I'm teaching may sound counterintuitive, right? To what you've learned, to what you've heard over the years and things like that. Because here's the thing, the diet industry has misled the public by teaching strategies that, yes, give you quick results, but not lasting ones. So usually if you follow those strategies that you've been hearing for years and decades or whatever, they work. So in that you will lose some weight initially, but then you find that you're quick to gain the weight back, even if you're still eating less than you did before, which is like really the key here. So you see, what we've been taught by the diet industry, fortunately, modern science are actually proving that there are myths, right? So I want to look at some of those biggest myths for you, because these are the mistakes I see people make all the time when they try to lose weight. The first myth is that you must restrict your calories to lose weight. The diet industry has taught this for many, many years. In fact, it's still taught in nutrition books today. And yes, it can work at first to get quick results. I want to show you why it doesn't work long-term, okay? So old school nutrition has taught us that what mattered for weight loss is how much you're eating. And specifically, they taught us that if you wanted to lose weight, you could just cut your calories or burn calories by exercising harder. So that meant that for many women, we were directed to cut 500 calories per day from what we were currently eating. And that would amount to 3,500 calories per week. That's a magic number that you'll see in all the diet books. And that meant that 3,500 calories would result in 1 pound of weight loss per week. So for a lot of people, that meant eating 1,200 calories a day or less. Well, this kind of calorie restriction, yes, will it make you lose weight initially? Sure. But at a certain point, the weight loss is going to stop, because your body is going to continuously require you to eat even less calories in order to continue the weight loss. That's why people plateau. So a classic example is the Weight Watchers diet. I am not bashing on Weight Watchers. I'm just telling you like it is, right? On this type of diet, you're counting points, but the reality is you're counting calories, right? They just package it differently. The whole point of these types of diets and others like it is that you want to keep your points, aka your calories, as low as possible, not necessarily eat the healthy way. So let me tell you a funny story. Years ago, when I was getting married, I did the Weight Watchers diet. And I remember, if you don't know me, those of people know that I'm a sweet tooth, like this is my Achilles heel. I can't live without sweets, right? And I remember there were days where I ate my entire point allocation in lollipops. I kid you not. I still lost the weight though. That's the funny thing. I still lost the weight, okay? So that's where we get confused, because we're like, well, when I'm doing this, I am losing the weight. But as soon as you go off the calorie counting plan, the weight is gonna come back up. And it's gonna come back you're gonna actually gain more weight. The reason being is that you have slowly reduced your metabolic burning power. Okay, so let's look at what happens when your body is restricting, when you restrict calories. You go into starvation mode. Here's why. Your body thinks that it needs to hold on to every calorie you eat because it's not sure when you're going to feed it again. Think of a bear, right? Bears, they eat and they eat because they know they're going to hibernate. And so they need to amass as much body fat as possible so that they can survive the winter. So your genes work the same way. So when you eat in a starvation mode, but you're starving yourself, when you eat, the food that you eat is going to be converted to fat. It's going to be stored as fat, as opposed to being distributed and used by your body as it should, right? So even if you're eating super healthy, people tell me, but all I'm eating is salad. Well, salad, if you're eating just green salads, there's really not a lot of nutrients in it. There's not a lot of calories in it. So yes, of course you're starving and you're not going to see much results. Okay. So not to mention that when we're doing restrictive diets, it leads to frustration. And it's incredibly difficult mentally and emotionally, right? Because they require you to restrict your calories, you're weighing your food, you're counting every single bite that goes into your mouth, and that causes stress, okay? So it's like you're a slave to your health plan. And you can only stay on something like that for so long, because oftentimes that's why we get cravings, because it's our mind and our body rebelling against the, the drastic measures that we're taking. Okay, so your cravings are really a message from your body to let you know, hey, I am out of balance here. Okay, so calorie restrictions lead to frustration, stress and frustration, even if you don't feel stress. That's super important. It's putting your body in a state of stress. And when your body is in a state of stress, it releases a particular hormone, which I'm sure you've heard of. It's called cortisol. Now, when cortisol is released, by the way, it's the main cause of belly fat. Yeah, us women, we know that very well. When cortisol is released in your bloodstream, your sugar level are going to go up. When your sugar level goes up, your pancreas has to pump out more insulin, because the job of insulin is to bring your blood sugar back into balance. But here's the cincher. When your body is releasing insulin, your body cannot burn fat. It cannot. So do you see how it all starting to add up? You're in a state of stress. You cannot burn fat because you're producing too much insulin. And when you cannot burn fat, the fat has to go somewhere. Guess where it's gonna go? In your hips, in the belly, in the thighs. This is why we just keep on that cycle, that vicious cycle that never ends. So what modern science is teaching us is that hormones matter more than calories. So the health of your metabolism, your body's ability to burn fat, this is what we need to focus on. This is not a license to have 5,000 calorie meals every day. This is not what I'm saying. Like, we have to be reasonable. But what I'm saying, we can let go of the slavery that we have about counting everything that goes into our mouth. Okay? So here's the first key to success I want to share with you. How do we turn up the volume naturally on your metabolism? It might surprise you, but you actually need to eat more. So I want you to think of your metabolism as a campfire. What happens to a campfire that doesn't have anything to burn? What happens to it eventually? It dies, right? So your metabolism is a campfire. You have to feed it in order for the flame to keep burning bright. Now, some people tell me, well, I don't like to eat in the morning. That's fine. You don't have to eat a big breakfast, right? So an example of a breakfast that would turn up your metabolism is something like a non-dairy apple parfait with some nuts, almond milk, apple, oats, hemp seeds. So things that are light, but after a whole, you sleep, let's say you sleep for 8 hours. After that, and I know intermittent fasting is all the rage these days. It works for some people. Most people I talk to, it doesn't work for them because their blood sugar in the morning dips too low. And you're going to see in a later what happens in your body when your blood sugar goes on a roller coaster. Okay, cool. So I love to tell client stories, and this is Jessica. Jessica was struggling with her weight like most of us, and she bounced from one diet to another over the years. And yeah, she would usually initially lose the weight, right? But then she'd go off the diet and then she'd gain the weight back, plus some more. So she was understandably feeling very frustrated, and she was wondering why she couldn't keep the weight off. Well, what she realized through applying the strategies that I'm sharing with you today is that she didn't need to deprive herself, and that it was those diets that were actually wrecking her metabolism. And so the opportunity for her was to start eating more food. Of course, she was surprised about that, right? And she was a little bit hesitant because she was worried that, hey, if I eat more, I'm going to gain weight. But fortunately, she trusted the process. And guess what? She was able to lose 10 pounds in the first 2 months while eating more and without feeling deprived. To me, that's the real win. The weight loss is great, but the fact that she learned how to eat and she was enjoying herself, that was the real winner for me. Now, here's the second myth. The second myth is believing that fat makes you fat, and that avoiding fat at all costs is going to help you lose weight. So let's take a look at why this myth got started in the first place. So old school nutrition taught us that consuming fat would lead to heart disease and weight gain. That idea started in the 1940s. So there were studies that showed that there might be a correlation between high fat diets and high cholesterol levels, right? And that if you were on a low fat diet, well, that was the antidote to heart disease prevention and weight loss. And by the 60s, the low-fat diet began to be touted by the medical establishment, the mainstream media as like the solution. And everybody started eating low-fat, okay? And in the 80s, we saw a bunch of products that we've never seen on our shelves before, right? We got the low-fat milk, low-fat cookies, low-fat this and low-fat that, all right? So, but here's the interesting thing. There was no clear evidence that eating low-fat actually prevented heart disease and promoted weight loss, okay? And ironically, what we notice is that the more people started eating low-fat, the fatter and fatter we became as a nation. And today we have an obesity epidemic in our hands, okay? Now, why is that? Well, there are many risks that are associated to eating low fat. Now, when I say those things, remember I say a lot of what I'm saying is gonna sound counterintuitive to what you know. I want you to use your brain. This is not licensed to go eat bacon 3 times a day. This is not what I'm saying. There are healthy fats and there are fats that are not good for you. Okay, I know you're smart, so I know you know what I'm saying. So what are the risks of eating a low-fat diet exclusively? Well, you're going to notice hormone imbalance, because fat is responsible for building your hormones. So when you don't have enough fat, guess what? Your hormones get out of balance. And this is one of the main things that lead to weight gain, as we learned earlier. It also causes blood sugar imbalance, which we talked before about, the insulin being pumped out and all the things that derive from that, right? So when your body is releasing too much insulin, your body cannot burn fat. Eating low fat also causes you to not feel satiated. Satiated is the feeling of satisfaction after you've had a meal. So the less fat you eat, the more you're going to need to eat, because you're going to feel hungry all the time. And that's going to lead to overeating. Low fat diet also has a dramatic effect on your mood and your cognitive function. It's no surprise, because your brain is largely made up of fat. So it needs fat to function. So low fat diets, if you'll notice that you have brain fog, anxiety, depression, part of it comes from not eating enough fat. And of course, it causes low energy because your body is not getting the fuel that it needs to function. So when you see all those things on the screen, can you see why the low fat diet craze that we've been, through since the 1940s, why that has led to the issues that we're seeing today, even with the kids? That's the saddest part. Our diets has changed so dramatically. So, which is why now, fortunately, we're catching up to that mistake. And modern science is teaching us that healthy fat actually stokes the fire of your metabolism, and that promotes fat burning. So in addition to helping the body's metabolism, the truth is your body needs fat to function. Fat is actually essential to your good health. And here's a second key to success that I teach my clients. Don't be afraid of fats. In fact, I want you to emphasize eating healthy fats. What do I mean by healthy fats? I'm talking about things like avocado, coconut, nuts, seeds. These are healthy fats. So make sure that you're including them in your meals, and also as snacks. They make great snacks. They're going to keep your energy up, and they're going to keep you feeling satisfied. So I'm just curious, let me know in the chat if you've experimented with healthy fats before, and if so, which one of your favorites? That way we can get ideas from each other. Okay, just let me know in the chat. So here's another story for you. When Nikki started on her journey, she was eating what most people look at and say, oh, you're eating healthy. So she ate salads, she ate low-fat yogurt, she ate grilled chicken breast. And that's why she was confused about why she couldn't lose the weight and keep it off. But when we took a close look at what she was eating, well, we realized most of it was low fat or no fat, right? And by applying the principles I'm teaching you today, she learned that eating low fat was not doing her any favors. In fact, it was hindering her ability to keep the weight off. And once she started adding healthy fats into her diet, guess what? Her metabolism kicked into high gear. Some of her favorite healthy fats were things like pecan and cashew butter. I don't know if you ever tried alternatives to peanut butter, but these are pretty good. She started adding half an avocado to her meal during the day. And as a result, she went down 1 pen size. She looked more toned without really trying. And it felt effortless to her because she was satiated by what she was eating compared to all those years where she's being so careful about her food. Okay. And here's the third and final myth that I want to talk to you about today, is that diet foods help you lose weight. Now, what are diet foods? You know those 100-calorie pack pretzels, chips, and cookies? Or, I'm very guilty of this, the Healthy Choice frozen meals, you know, the low-calorie replacement shakes, things like that. These are diet foods. Anybody ever try eating diet foods before as a solution? Yes, guilty as charged, always, right? But if you have eaten these foods, it's not about, feeling ashamed about it, right? I have, so you're in good company. If you have eaten diet foods, do you find them to be satisfying? And were you able to just enjoy one serving and stop there? Let me know. If you get 100-calorie pack of pretzel, do you eat just one pack or do you eat more? Heather said I would eat 3 packs. Yeah. Excellent, excellent. It's never enough. Exactly, never enough. Okay. So diet foods actually sabotage your weight loss efforts. That's the thing. The reason is they lack nutrients. It means that your body is not getting what it needs, what it wants. And so you are going to keep craving more. More importantly, they are filled with sugar, because when you see on a package, it says low fat, fat is what gives food flavor. So if the food manufacturers take the fat out of the food, they have to replace it with something. And that something is sugar. Even worse, high fructose corn syrup. That's how the low fat food still tastes palatable, because otherwise we wouldn't buy it, we wouldn't eat it. Okay. And yes, they are low in calories, but what that means is that it's impossible to feel satisfied with just one serving. So you end up eating more than you would have if you just had allowed yourself to eat the non-diet variety and just be done with it. Okay. So the third key to success that I want to share with you in this regard is how to kick your cravings to the curb. And you do that by eating the right carbs. Now, certain type of carbs can unknowingly affect your sugar cravings. So in the last few years, carbs have become kind of a bad word, right? So there's a lot of confusion about, should I eat carb? Should I not eat carb, right? And a lot of my clients are afraid to eat any carbs at all. But it's so important to distinguish between the different types of carbs, because they are not all equal, okay? So there are two types of carbs. There are simple carbs and there are complex carbs. This is one of the rare instances where you should not keep it simple, okay? Simple carbs are not good for you. Let me walk you through what happens in your body when you eat simple carbs. So let's say you started your day with your favorite flavored coffee, right? This is a simple carb. You get a burst of energy, right? Because you had sugar, you have caffeine. So when you first eat sugar, your blood sugar is going to rise. It's going, like, imagine it's a roller coaster. So it's going to rise up to the top of the roller coaster, right? And once it's at the top of the roller coaster, this is when you feel that sugar high, like, ooh, I'm feeling good. But then what happens is that your sugar levels are going to fall. Why? Because your body is pumping the insulin. Because remember, every time you introduce sugar, your body has to give you insulin to bring your levels back in line. And so when that happens, the problem is we eat so much of simple carbs that the pancreas has gotten too good at doing its job. So instead of releasing just the right amount of insulin, oftentimes more insulin than necessary get released. And therefore, your blood sugar levels are going to drop to the bottom of the roller coaster. This is when you start experiencing cravings. Because when you're at the bottom of that roller coaster, your brain, which uses 50% of your blood sugar, it's an emergency for your brain. It's like, oh, something is wrong. I need sugar. I need to replenish my reserves. And this is where the cravings come from. So you can see that you can go the whole day going back and forth, down, up and down on that roller coaster of trying to satisfy your cravings, okay? And to make matters worse, as we talked about, sugar adversely affects your metabolism. It stops you from burning fat. It causes fatigue and weight gain, because every time your blood sugar is high, right, it releases insulin, and insulin makes the sugar converts into fat. Okay, so that's a problem. It messes up with your hormones. No bueno. But having said that, it's so important for you to understand that not all carbs are bad. Just like healthy fats, we need healthy carbs in our diet. So here's the action step for you. You want to start practicing choosing the right carbs. So the next time you go for Chinese, for example, ask for brown rice instead of white rice, and see if you start noticing, like, the crash effect starts to level off. Right? Instead of starting your day with an iced mocha frappuccino and a muffin, try a bowl of oats with berries. So it's just about choosing the right ones. Okay. And Janet got amazing results just by following this tip. She, her habit was she was eating a bagel for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and lots of pasta for dinner. But once she understood that really she was just eating a lot of simple carbs, well, she made some swaps for healthy complex carbs. So for example, she started eating a healthy granola for breakfast. She added more salads for lunch with lots of veggies and nuts and things like that. And she swapped brown rice and quinoa for her pasta at night. And what happened is that, one, she was way more satisfied with her food. She had fewer cravings. And as a result, she went down a whole pen size in 2 months. So now I know you might be concerned about how do I put all of this together, right? How can I start kicking off the sugar craving and start losing that weight? I have good news. I told you at the beginning that I have a gift for you. It's a guide that not only will give you my 5-step system to help you curb your sugar cravings naturally, but I also included some of my favorite recipes in there. And those recipes particularly are going to help you tame your sweet tooth and turn up your metabolism. So before we move on to our last 2 strategies, let me know in the chat with a 1, type 1, if you would like to get that 5-step sugar detox guide. Let me know. And in the meantime, let me look for the link for you. Awesome. I see a lot of 1s. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Debbie. So, oh, Debbie, looks like I sent it to you directly. Okay, hold on. Here you go. I think I got it. Okay. So when you open this form, let me walk you through it really quickly. This is what you're going to get in your inbox. So when you click on that form, at the top of the form, you're going to see it says your aha moment. So I want to know, I'm so curious, it'll be so helpful for me as I run my classes to know, what was your biggest aha? What was something you learned so far, or maybe something you knew already but you needed to hear again today? Okay, so just take a minute, write that down. And then if you want the 5-step sugar detox guide, you'll see further down in the form, you'll see the image and a checkbox. So just go ahead, click the checkbox, and then fill out your name and your email. The phone number is optional. That way I can send you the guide directly. Okay. Okay, so today we really were focusing on how to eat the right way to rev up your metabolism. But as you know, this is just one piece of the puzzle, right? So we talked already about, like, in order for you to lose weight and keep it off, which is the important part, you have to eat in a way that revs up your metabolism. You have to keep your hormones balanced. You have to exercise in a way that accelerates fat loss. You have to deal with those gut health issues. A lot of times we have food sensitivities, which is different than food allergies, that we're not aware of, but that are causing weight loss resistance. We must manage the stress, and we must make sleep a priority. Okay, so these are the 6 major things. So I know from talking to you that many of you've tried keeping the weight off only to find out that it always came back. So frustrating. Okay, and that's because we cannot just look. I always tell my clients that if weight loss was about eating less and exercising more, it would have worked by now. So clearly there's more to the story than that. Okay, so you might need a little bit of expert help and expert strategies to get those results. So if you're ready to lose weight, if you're ready to transform in a way that feels really healthy, then I have another gift for you. I want to offer you some one-on-one time with me for those of you who are action takers who want some expert help. Okay, it's a call, it's a free call. I call it the Slim Down Success Accelerator session, because what we've gotten here was generalized information. How do we make it specific for you? Okay, and in this call, what we're going to do, we're going to uncover what's secretly stopping you from losing weight and keeping it off, right? We're going to talk about strategies that are best suited for your body to help you lose the weight without feeling deprived. And we'll come up with a next step action plan for you. So normally that session is $97, but I'm opening up 3 spots in my calendar for these sessions. And I'm offering it as a special gift for those of you who are here on the call with me. Okay.
Carmina, excuse me just for a second.
Sure.
I just want to make clear that Union Public Library does not endorse or not endorse this program. So I just wanted to make that clear. Thank you. Keep going. And we have some questions when you get a chance.
Okay, awesome. Will do. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so on that same form that you already have open, if you want a session, do the same thing. Just check the box and click submit. Okay, and after we're done here today, I'll send you an email so that we can get on my calendar if you want to. Some of you are going to be solid after this conversation, which is amazing, which is the goal. But some of you are gonna want personalized help. So that's why I'm offering it. Okay, but please know that this session is not for everybody. It's only for those people who are serious. They're like I'm done, I'm tired, I need to get off this diet roller coaster. If you are willing to get guidance about what to eat and the other puzzle pieces that we talked about, and if you want to have more room in your jeans, that's my favorite saying, and feel totally transformed in your body. So if you want that expert help, go ahead, click the checkbox, and then submit the form, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. All right, so let's get back to the last 2 strategies of the Slim Down Success System. The fourth key to your success is to eat nutrient-dense foods. Now, what we've come to realize is that it's not how much you eat that matters. I'm sorry, it's not what you eat that matters, is how much and the quality of what you eat that matters. The quality of your food matters more than the number of calories. So let me give you some example of nutrient-dense food so you know what I'm talking about. So one of the favorites are leafy greens veggies. So we're talking about kale, spinach, switch charts, collard greens. These type of foods are incredibly nutrient dense. According to Dr. Furman's ND score, ND stands for the Aggregate Nutrient Density Index. The dark leafy greens are the most nutrient dense food on the planet, okay, because they have a high amount of macronutrients versus the low amount of calories. So you're getting a lot of bang for your bucks, right? In addition, why it's amazing, great source of fiber, right? And why is fiber important? Because fiber allows you the food to digest slower. So that means you're going to feel fuller longer, which means you're naturally going to eat less without really trying, okay? And of course, it helps regulate your blood sugar levels. And we know why it's important to keep your blood sugar levels low. The other type of food that you want to eat, I call them the Rambo Foods. So berries, sweet potato, beets, melons. So just think of the color, right? The pigmentation of the different foods actually gives you a clue what they are good for. So for example, green foods, they are great to help detox the liver. Red foods help reduce inflammation. Orange and yellow foods, they boost the antioxidant intake and they are anti-inflammatory. Blue and purple foods, they are great for your immune system. White and brown foods, they help reduce free radical damage. Okay, so try to eat as many colors as possible, and without having to count calories or anything like that, then you're doing a great job. We talked about fiber before. So there are certain foods that are particularly rich in fiber. So flaxseed, my favorite is the ground flaxseed meal from, what is that? It's the red meal version. So you can add it to your shakes, you can add it to cereal, like you want. It doesn't really taste like anything, so you can add it to stuff and not really get the benefit of the fiber without the taste. So beans are an excellent choice. You can add beans to anything. Lentils, brown rice we talked about, oats, fruits and vegetables, all those things are nutrient dense. Okay, so the benefit, they help control your blood sugar levels. And I'm not going to repeat it again because I've said it so many times, but I hope now it's ingrained in your head. Blood sugar is bad for your waist and your hips. Okay, we're gonna keep it stable. So we talked about fats before. You know, healthy fats are one of the biggest things that you can do to turn on your metabolic fire. And you know, coconut oil. If I really recommend switching from the vegetable oils to things like coconut oil, olive oil when you're cooking. Okay, nut butters. So if you're eating a lot, if you like peanut butter, try like an almond butter or cashew butter. These are really great alternatives. My favorite of all time, avocados, amazing. We have some fatty fish like salmon and cod. They're great fish to start adding to your diet for healthy fats. Okay. Okay. And then Angela, like many of us, she was watching what she ate, right? She ate healthy frozen meals, low calorie soup, 100 calorie snack packs, right? And even with all that low diet food, she wasn't losing weight. But once she started to replace her diet foods with things like we talked about, like stir fry with chicken, bok choy, mushroom and brown rice cooked with coconut oil. Just talking about those things makes my mouth water. Because we often think like, oh, if I'm eating healthy, I'm eating boring food. Nothing could be further from the truth. Nowadays, there are so many options. You just have to be a little bit adventurous to see what you can trade, you know, your everyday food with something that's a bit more healthy for you. Okay. And as a result of her switching her diet in a healthy way that made her feel really satisfied, she was able to lose 13 pounds in 12 weeks. And the most important thing, she was eating food she actually loved. It wasn't a sacrifice. It wasn't deprivation. She actually enjoyed it. And this takes us to our final strategy. And this is a really important one. And that is to balance your meals with protein, fat, and fiber. It's really big, particularly when you try to kick your sugar cravings, because when your meal includes those three things, protein, fat, and fiber, your blood sugar naturally gets balanced out. And you'll find that your cravings, they go away without you trying very hard. So an example of a balanced meal might be something like salmon, which is a protein and also contains healthy fat, with some sauteed vegetables, whatever your favorites are, because that's going to give you the fiber and the carbs, and then some toasted walnuts, which also will provide additional fat. So let me give you some quick example of snacks that are balanced versus not balanced. Now, instead of having just an apple, have that same apple, but add some almond butter to it or some peanut butter. That way you're getting the carbs, but you're also getting the fat and the protein. Instead of having a piece of bread and saying, oh, I'm being good, I'm only having bread, that's not going to do much for you. Okay. Add some eggs, add some avocado to a whole grain toast. So if you notice, like those changes are small, but they're significant because it's not, again, the quantity of the calories, is the food combination that makes the difference. Okay. All right. So we talked about a lot of things today. So let's recap really quickly what we talked about. We talked about how restricting calories is putting your body in a state of stress, and that encourages fat storage, and that instead what we want to do, we want to turn up your metabolism by eating more healthy food. not less. I shared how healthy fats and the right carbs are absolutely necessary to your health and also to rev up your metabolism and to curb your cravings. We discuss why diets today get in the way of your success, and that what matters more than how much you eat is what you eat. It's the quality of your food. So we want to go for dense, nutrient-dense food and the Rambo Foods, okay? And we know, I just said that. So forget about watching your calories, just focus on the quality of your foods. Excellent. So what are your action steps? What can you do with what you learned today? So here's a few that I propose for you. You can stop skipping your meals. You can start adding healthy fats to your diet. That's an easy one. You can start incorporating more nutrient-dense food, more Rambo food. That's easy with fruits and vegetables, so easy, okay? Of course, you can book a Slim Down Success Accelerator session with me, and you can start balancing your meals with protein, fat, and fiber. Yeah, you can eat the same thing, just pair them with better quality foods, okay? So if you fill out the form, make sure that you click on submit, otherwise it's not gonna come to me and I won't be able to send you your gifts, okay? So there's an old saying that I wanna finish with, by Stephen Covey. It says that by doing the same old things, you get the same old results. If you keep doing what hasn't been working, well, guess what? You'll keep getting the same old results. So you'll just stay stuck and you'll keep on spinning, because without the support, right, it's going to get harder and harder. We all know as we get older, things get, it's not as easy as it was as when we were in our 20s, right? And so let's end today by you booking that session if that's something that you feel would be beneficial to you, because we'll help you find the gaps and see what's missing from the 6 puzzle pieces that we talked about. We'll take a look at what needs to be fixed in your metabolism, whether it's your hormones, your gut health, possible food sensitivities, and lifestyle factors, really important. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's all I had to share. So before we go, I want to take a moment to see if there are any questions that you might still have.
We have a question from WD31. Take it away.
Hi, it's me. Sorry, I don't know how to change that number. Anyway, no, I had a question for you, Mino, because I usually skip a meal, but then on your conclusion, you did say don't skip. But for example, since I woke up, I only had water. I didn't eat yet, and I usually do that. I've been doing that for a while. Is it something that I should keep doing, or apparently it's not a good thing to do? Because I kind of reduce my meals to 2 meals instead of 3. I don't do snacks, trying to see if I can lose weight, but I guess I'm not doing the right method. Now I know.
Well, let me tell you this. As a health coach, I don't teach dogma. There's nothing that says, oh, you must absolutely do X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. I always go back to, how do you feel in your body? Because your body, like, you are your own authority on your body. You know what feels good to your body and what doesn't. Some people, when they do what you're doing, which is pretty much you're doing intermittent fasting. Some people, when they do that, they feel terrible. Their brain gets foggy. They get dizzy all the time. It doesn't work for them. Mm-hmm. Some people swear by intermittent fasting. When they do it, they find that they have more energy. They still eat the same amount of food. Like they don't stack up whenever they eat a meal because they didn't eat all day. More often than not, I find that the more weight you have to lose, the less I find that intermittent fasting works, because your brain is wired differently. So It's a non-committal answer, but it's on purpose, because what I want you to get out of this session, ultimately, you know how your body feels. I'm not inside your body. I don't know how you feel. If you feel good doing it, keep doing it. If you're getting the results, it's working for you. Do you see what I mean? But if you are doing it and you're getting frustrated because you're doing all this effort and you're not seeing any results, then clearly your body is telling you this is not working for me.
Okay.
You see the difference?
I see what you mean.
Okay, Natalie has a question.
Thank you.
Natalie?
Welcome.
Okay, what about skipping breakfast? But we talked about that. Natalie wanted, I'm trying to remember what she wants, but we have another question from someone else about exercise.
What's the question about exercise? Sorry.
It just says, what about exercise? Would you like, M. Mercier, sure I butchered that name, sorry about that. Would you like to ask your question?
I was wondering, what about it? Again,
Can
because
you-
you talk about calories in and calories out.
Yeah, I think I understand your question. With the exercise, the typical thing is, okay, how much calories you take in versus how much calories you take out. That's what determines whether you lose weight or not. So we talk about this a little bit with the 3,500 theory that has now been debunked. We know that it's not true in the long term. Between you and me, if you have to lose 10, 15 pounds, that will probably work for you. Okay, it's gonna work in the short term. Now, when we talk about exercising, unfortunately, a lot of people use exercise as a form of punishment. Oh, I ate so much yesterday, I have to get another treadmill, right? So we try to out-exercise a bad diet. This is when we get in trouble, because exercise was never meant for that. Your body doesn't need exercise. Your body needs movement. There's a difference between exercising and moving. If you spend an hour on the treadmill and the rest of the day, you're just sitting on a chair at work, lying on a couch when you get home, it's not gonna do you much good. What's really key is you moving all day. So if we look at, back in the days, we didn't have gyms. What did people do? They walked everywhere. They went on bicycles. They went on walks in the park. Nowadays, we're so sedentary. Our body is not made to be sedentary. So one thing especially when I work with clients who have significant amount of weight to lose, I steer them away from exercising and I want them to focus on movement. What are the things that you like doing that give you pleasure that you would do without the idea of I need to lose X amount of calories by doing that? So some people enjoy walking. Some people love Zumba, which is one of my favorite forms of exercise. So that's the key. It's like find something that you love doing and do it, not with the idea that I'm working off my calories, but I'm putting I'm enjoying my body in motion. That's really the key. I hope that helps.
We have another question. What about the rainbow food? Can you please explain again which color is beneficial for what? Carmina has said that she will give me the slides and I will pass them on to you. So just for due to shortage of time, I'm going to take advantage of that. And I hope that is okay with WB. And don't worry about changing your name on here. I can't do it either. So it's no problem. Any other questions? And while you're thinking about it, this is the last round for questions. I want to say again, thank you to everybody for being here today. I really, really appreciate it. Again, if you have, to people who said yes in terms of subscribing to the email, thank you so much. Again, Union Public Library does not endorse any particular program for weight loss, or for that matter, we don't endorse very much of anything. So please take that into consideration. And if you live, work, or go to school in Union, you can get a library card. Come to our 1060 Stuyvesant or to the Vauxhall branch, and we'll help you out. And then you don't have to come again ever because we have so many digital resources. So there's two questions. One is whether cheese is bad for you and lead to breast cancer while adding more weight. Is cheese bad for you? And does it lead to breast cancer while adding more weight?
I can speak to the cancer part. That's not my my area of expertise. Cheese in general has a lot of fat and not the good type of fat. So one thing is always key is to read the ingredient list. Right? So what's in the front of a package, it's just marketing. Just keep that in mind. So the companies are trying to sell you food. So what's in front of the package is not censored. They can pretty much put whatever they want, quote unquote. The back of the package, where you have the nutrition facts and the ingredient list, this is what you want to look at. Look at that. When you look at the ingredient, the first item listed is what that item has the most of. So for example, if you look at a package of pretzel and the first thing that's listed in ingredients is sugar, know that most of what you're eating in that pack of pretzel is sugar. So that's the best answer I can give you because I don't know the specific of the cheese. So the point is, look at the back package. When it comes to fat, you want to stay away from hydrogenated fats. These are the worst type of fats you can eat. So if you look at the package and your cheese package has that type of fat, stay away from it. Trans fat is another one that you want to stay away from.
Anita, I'm just writing to you quickly whether you'd like to ask your question or whether you would like me to do it. And I'm going to give you a moment to answer.
Somebody wrote something. Any difference in food if you are under a lot of stress? From Anita.
Was that a question you were thinking of?
Yeah, that's a question that somebody asked. Yeah, yes.
Okay. That's a great question, Anita. And stress is one of the biggest needle movers when it comes to weight loss. Because what happens when you are under stress, your digestive system shuts down. And that comes from way back when we were, the human beings were prey for animals, right? So we had to fight for survival. And so we developed mechanism to protect ourselves. So when we perceive danger, what happens is that our digestive system shuts down, the blood gets routed to our extremities, our breath quickens. Why? Because we need to run fast. We need to run away from danger. The problem is, now, what's not a problem? We don't have to run from bears nowadays. Most of us don't. However, DNA has a long memory. So it still remembers, if I perceive danger, I need to push all my resources to get away from it. So when you are in a stressful situation at work with your kids or you're stuck in traffic, you're not in any danger, but the reaction in your body is the same. You cannot digest food in that state. So one of the tricks I teach my clients is before you eat anything, take 3 deep breaths. That is going to automatically calm your nervous system, because guess what? If you're breathing slowly, your brain can't register danger. It's like, oh, she's breathing slowly, so she's fine. And so your digesting system opens up back again. So that's a quick trick.
Okay, and I'm sorry to for this. This is the final question. However, if you have more questions, please let me know. Yali, and in an email or whatever way. And Yali, did you want to answer this? Ask this question? I think to some extent it's already been asked, but go ahead and ask it.
Hi, thank you for taking my question. So my question is, what are your thoughts on food fasting? For example, like I've heard many times that if we don't eat between 7 p.m. until 10 a.m. the next day, it helps burn fat. Is that really true, or is that a myth? Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Thank you for your question. And it's very similar to the question that WB asked, Kiki asked. It depends. There are no fast rules. Like I really refrained from being dogmatic about nutrition in those situations. Some people have a body type called carbo type. Those people, which I'm one of them, I need to eat on a regular basis. Otherwise, my blood sugar goes all over the place and I cannot function. I get brain fog, I'm dizzy, I feel weak, no good. Some people swear by intermittent fasting, which is what you're describing. So intermittent fasting has its detractors. It has people who say this is the best thing ever since sliced bread. I always say, try it out and see how your body feels. If you feel terrible like I do when you do it, don't do it. Then you know it's not for you. If you do it, you feel energized, you feel great throughout the day, then that's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to say, do this and don't do that until you've tried it. Like, to a certain degree, we have to be willing to test things out and use your body like a lab. It's the best lab you'll ever have. So test it out, see how you feel. If it doesn't work, then you know that's not for you. Who knows? It might work.
So Carmina, I cannot thank you enough today for helping us out. We really appreciate the presentation. If you have further questions for Carmina, please send them to me. And you all have my email address because I sent you an email. But I'll just put it in, let me do this. It's DWALTER, stands for Debbie Walter, DWALTER @uplnj.org. And again, thank you so much for today. Carmina, when you go through the, okay, I'm going to type it in chat, then I'm done. Then I got to go. Okay, and I sent an email to everybody. If you did not get an email from me, please let Carmina know. Carmina, you will see there are tons of thank yous and great presentation. So thank you to everybody today for being here. And with this note, I'm going to end. Thank you again. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.